All right, it's working. You see my hand? Nod yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Henry.
Yes.
So I'm like looking at two monitors, and I'm working over here, so I'll be looking weird back and forth. All right, so what you need today is that I believe I gave everyone a handout that's squarish and it has 12 pieces of pie. If you did not get one of these, you need to find any paper that you can, and you're going to have to draw your own circle and 12 sections. It's not going to be the end of the world if they're not mathematically even. But again, I think most of you got this, but if you didn't, you're going to have to draw it from scratch. Okay? So normally I would have students draw all these sections, but I didn't want to give protractors out to everyone because it's hard enough to get my compass back. And with that said, you guys make sure you bring me all the supplies back on November 18th, which is the day that we're going to do another pickup at school. So with your compass, you're going to have to draw 3 circles, if not more. So here are some sample projects from the past. And I'm not saying they're awesome examples. This one's not too bad. The colors, the tints are way too dark. So when I graded this, I did not give them the A, because when I look at these from the far, it should be the outer ring is the hue, which is the main color. And I'll put this in your notes as well. The second ring is tint. So you can see right now, that's too dark, right? But this tint's okay. But a lot of hers are too dark. The next ring is supposed to be gray. Oh, no, you know what? She's doing it right because she's opting to get the A. So she's got 2 tints, a tone, and a shade. You're only required to do 1 tint. Okay, so the outer ring will be hue, tint, tone, and shade. And now I'm going to demonstrate the ones that you can get a B for. If you want to be an overachiever and get an A, you can do 2 tints or 2 shades or 2 tones and so forth. So if you are going to do 2 tints, the first tint has to be dark, lighter than the hue, and then the next tint's even lighter. So they did do it right. Okay. These terms, again, you'll get used to it. This person did not do very good. Why? Lauren?
They have 2 colors, or 2 the same colors on top of each other,
Like-
on every single triangle.
Like right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you squint, it actually looks like it's all one value of tint, and they were attempting to go for the A, but they didn't get it because her 2 tints, or his 2 tints, her 2 tints, it should be dark here, then medium of tints. Okay. So this one did not get the A, even though they did an extra ring. I don't think I have a good example. All right, so if you want hue, so the outer ring's going to be hue. The second ring is going to be tint, so that's white. And again, I'll put this in your notes or your classwork page. The third ring is going to be tone, which is gray. And the inner ring is going to be shade, which is black. So with that said, you're going to need 1, 2, 3 circles most likely. So you're going to put your compass in the middle of your color wheel. And then I don't care what how the size is. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing is the hue should not be the biggest ring because that is something that you don't have to work with too much. Okay. Then you're going to have to just free draw circles, Shy. It's on that ruler. So if you got a big ruler, the compass is in the middle. All right, so I'm just going to arbitrarily pick some sections on my ruler, or my compass, I mean. So the outer ring is hue. Okay? The next ring would be tint. So again, I don't care how big these are. And I'm just demonstrating what it would be for B or B+, providing you paint it correctly. So we got tint. The third one is what? Christian?
It's like
What would you add to it?
gray.
Yep. So
Gray.
And when you add gray to a color, what is that called?
Tone?
Yep, very good. So there you go. So you got tone and then shade. I'll just write an S. So if you only want to do the 4 main things, hue, tint, tone, and shade, you need 3 circles. If you want to try to shoot for a higher grade, providing that it's mixed correctly and painted neatly, you can have 4 circles and give yourself 2 values of tint or 2 values of tone. Raise your hand if that makes sense, or a thumbs up. Okay, good. So the next part of this demonstration is just how to paint it, and I'm only going to do 1 color, and I'm going to pick blue. Make sure that you label it before you start painting. A lot of students will start painting and they accidentally put them in the wrong spot. They have to go in order. So the first color on a wheel, I usually start with yellow, and I go to a tertiary yellow-orange, secondary orange, tertiary red-orange, and so forth, okay? So now that I have it labeled, I'm ready to paint. Do try to paint neat, this counts, and if you get out of the lines, you can paint the background any color you want. I prefer black or gray. You'll need your popsicle sticks or plastic spoons or whatever you want. You're going to have a scoop of white, a tiny bit of black, you barely need any. I may have given you gray, I don't remember. If I did, you can use gray for your tone, or you can mix your own gray, okay? And then blue, since I'm starting with blue. So the first thing you're going to paint is the hue. That's your pure color. I would have several brushes out, and I would have a cup of water, some scratch paper or paper plates or whatever you want to do to mix it on. You can even use a real plate, but when you use a real plate, wipe it off the excess paint with a towel or a paper towel or something, trash it, and then wash your plate. If the paint dries, it's not the end of the world. You just let the plate soak and that paint will peel right off. Okay? Lauren, just let me get, or Dakota, let me get through my spiel first and then I'll answer questions. So, like I said, neatness counts. You always start with the hue. And you might need 2 coats, like red might need 2 coats. Blue is pretty good color. Again, I like to turn my wheel around so I can get nice clean edges. Water is your friend when you paint, however, it should not look like watercolor. So you just put enough water on your brush or the paint so that it's easy to paint. If it looks dry and like scratchy, you need to put more water in your paint. Okay? Now, who remembers the rule of mixing colors? So my next one has to be a tint. Henry.
For tint, don't you put white into the color?
Yes, but to make my colors oh so right, always mix the...
Dark with the light?
Yep. So because I got a lot of blue in that brush, I'm going to try to brush it out. And then I'm going to scoop some white off to the side. Don't go dead center because you can use that for other colors. When you're mixing colors, again, don't be mixing it so that the paint grows outward because you're going to waste a lot of paint. So remember, the tint has to be super light. Think about Easter. All those colors. Pale green, robin egg blue, lavender, things like that. So to me, I think this is a nice tint. I have too much blue in my brush. I'm going to rinse it out a little. And now I can go back in. Okay. Now, if you didn't get cardstock, you can use regular paper, but remember, it's going to be pretty wrinkly because the water's going to make the paper peel up a little. Or wrinkle, I mean. So did you see what I did? I had too much blue strokes in it, so I had to remix it. So again, that's important to do. Just keep your mind, or keep your paints nice and solid. For time reasons, I'm not going to make this perfect. So there's my hue and my tint. The next color is tone. Knowing the rule of dark to light, what should I do to make my tone? This is a trick question, actually. You can kind of just leave your color on the paper And because there's white in there, you just need a freckle of black. So all your tints, when you're ready to make your tone, you just have to add a tiny bit of black. You don't have to make gray pile off to the side. Okay? So there's a tone. I'm going to add just a touch more blue and a little more white. And a little more black. So you have to go back and forth, back and forth. Remember, tones are dull colors, so it should definitely be lighter than blackish, but darker than gray, or your tint. Again, I'm not going to do it perfectly, but see how that's toned? The last thing, though, is shade. Should I wash my brush out for shade, or can I just put black in it? Who says I should wash my brush out to do the shade? The answer is I should, because I've got white in it. So if I add more black in it, it's just a tone. So the color that you do have to wash your brush out is when you get to your shade. So make sure you get all that white out of the bristles. That's where I like paper towel. And now you can take the black and bring it into whatever color you're working with. It's going to look black from afar, but if you look up close, it should obviously look like it's the color that you're making dark. So if these don't look dark or like brownish color or black from afar, it's not dark enough. Okay? Again, I can't stress the fact I'm not doing it neat. I expect you to. So there you go. You've got hue, tint, tone, and shade. So those who are shooting for an A, you would have 4 rings, so you can have a darker tint and a lighter tint, and then jump to tone and then shade. When you're doing your wheels, I recommend you skipping every other pie. Why do you think I say that? Why would I want you to skip every other section after you finish blue or whatever? Dakota?
So it can dry?
Yep. So you want nice clean edges and let it dry, and then you can go back up to it as much as you want. If you get half this wheel done today, you've done good. Okay, and then the rest is tomorrow. Okay, now I'll take questions. Shai's first.
Okay, so about like drawing the line, you made us give all of our rulers back, and none of us have compasses. So how are we supposed to do the line?
You can just free draw them. So here's one year I let students just do like some circles. They could do some petals. As long as the sections are fairly even, you can even try to do like a star burst shape. So if you don't have a compass and you don't feel good drawing a circle from scratch, that's one thing you can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, Dakota? First of all, not everyone brought their ruler in, so a lot of you should be able to draw circles. All right, Tessa's first, then Dakota, then Lauren. Tessa?
I was going to say the same thing, that we all brought our rulers back.
Okay. You just freeform bursts, hearts even, as long as you have enough sections to show me that you mixed it really well. Lauren?
So yesterday, did you say I should just draw it on the back of this?
It would-
Bird's eye view paper.
Yeah, it would be better on stiff paper. And if you don't have a compass, do you have one?
I'm sure I can find one at my house.
Otherwise, you can just take a dinner plate, make sure it's big, trace it, and then you can do your shapes within it. Henry?
So you say we do every other one so it can dry out?
That's what I would do. And don't get...
Okay, so we do one color, then we do another color, and then all the way around, yes?
Yep. Now, if you're tempted to do all your hues first, you're just doubling the work for yourself. Because by the time you get back to doing your tints, tones, and shades, you have already washed your brush 12 times. Does that make sense? For your sections
Yes.
of your pie, you only have to wash it technically once when you get to your shape.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions, Dakota?